Wiping my sweat as I was finishing that instructional material for my grand demo teaching the next day, I saw a blot of liquid on the manila paper. That drop of fluid came from my very own eyes. The marker had run out of ink. I only got a 10 peso coin in my purse. I had sacrificed 2 meals to accumulate the remaining allowance to buy the materials needed for that demo teaching. I tried my best to pull myself together while piled up hardships in my life kept flashing back. My body was trembling, my right hand was shaking, my mind was restless, and my heart was a hurricane of anger, despair, remorse because I have not loved the life I had. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, have you loved the way fate takes the course of your life? Steered with the many hardships since young, I was hurt, lost, and confused. Back then, I blamed fate. I accused it of stealing happiness I longed to have. I pointed fingers towards my plight because they made me a loser and a failure at everything. When I was in high school, my 4 other siblings studied college in Cebu. My parents' income could not suffice our education. Thus, we resorted to owing money from one relative to another, from one lending company to another. To make both ends meet, my mother and I juggled food in the market under the scorching heat of the sun and the numbing cold of the rain. I took up education because it suited well for a 4 feet and 11-inch young lady because this course doesn't have a height requirement, right? On a serious note, that was what my family could only afford sending me to college. It was difficult. It was difficult doing side hustles and keeping good grades for me to graduate. I remembered many sleepless nights of studying for exams, making reports, complying with other school requirements, crying, sulking, blaming life, and an endless things to be done went on. That had been my life for over a decade. Other people who witnessed all of these asked, have you loved the way fate takes the course of your life? I felt like I felt like punished in life. Please don't get me wrong. I appreciated the little moments that became good memories. When employed, I thought I could escape from fate's cruel treatment. They were of varying complexity and significance. Here came adulthood. The pressures of adulthood hit me really hard. Living independently away from home, fending myself, extending financial support to my family, and again, the endless list of things to be done went on. However, some breakthroughs become our defining moments in life. Here came motherhood. I experienced a severely sensitive pregnancy where I had monthly trips to the emergency rooms in the hospitals, and it knocked me down for how many times the doctors would warn us about the life threatening conditions of me and my child. At times like these, part of me can't help but regard life as a vile monster that laughs at human misfortunes. Through this transition in my life, I have become acquainted with another version of myself. And this part is more accepting, gentler, and more patient than my usual persona. Just in time that an enlightenment dawned on me, I have learned to accept, embrace, and love my fate. Amor fati. It is grounded in the idea of embracing and accepting life and reality as it is. This part of me sincerely believes that life isn't awful, it's just life. I started to believe that life doesn't single out any person to be punished or suffer. It just happens because such is just the nature of things. Life is imperfect, and ironically, these imperfections give what we perceive as beauty, the beauty of variety, the excitement of pleasant surprises, and the ability to hope for good things in an uncertain future. Part of me seems to be growing in comfort with the thought that all the pains I may experience in dealing with all the hardships in my life may be good for us in the big picture. Perhaps it is the part of me growing and learning to accept my place and condition in life. Nothing is good or bad because you don't know the outcome of the experience yet. And you know what, fellow Toastmasters and guests? Some of the things in my life that I thought were the worst things to ever happen to me turned out to be the best things that ever happened to me. My folks, have we loved the way fate takes the course of our lives? Now, loving my fate entails loving both the good and bad that life brings and refusing to dwell on what might have been. Wiping my sweat as I am about to finish this speech for presentation tonight, I embrace and accept what life and the universe have in store for me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.